Hello there you guys, welcome to another one of my live videos, and today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more current transfer rumours and gossip. So if you do consider drop your likes, and if you do consider subscribe to the channel as always. So just going to give you a bit of additional information about Sebastian Haller, who's currently a forward for Frankfurt. Now reportedly Manchester United have monitored an interest in the player, and reportedly we have identified him as a replacement for Romelu Lukaku, if Lukaku of course is to leave Manchester United this summer. So we do know that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is on the lookout for attacking reinforcements. Sebastian Haller, I think he's 24 years of age, so he's very young. He has still got a lot of development in him. I think he's about 6'3", so he's very tall. I think last season for Frankfurt he scored 15 goals in 23 league starts for Frankfurt last season. Also helped Frankfurt secure 7th place. I think he's also been linked to a move to Everton in the past. I think he's also been linked to a move to Norwich in the past. I think before he was at Frankfurt, I think he had spells with Utrecht, and I think he also had spells with Oxford. So reportedly Manchester United have expressed an interest in the player. It does remain uncertain if Frankfurt are willing to sell Sebastian Haller, because obviously as it did get confirmed on Tuesday that Frankfurt had sold Lukaku to Real Madrid. I think Real Madrid got him in a deal worth around £62 million, and he has signed a 6-year deal with Real Madrid as Luka Djokovic. And obviously last season they were a fantastic partnership for Frankfurt, where Luka Djokovic and Sebastian Haller. But to be quite honest with you, I don't really know much about the Sebastian Haller, to be quite honest with you. It did say Man United instructed scouts to watch Sebastian Haller during Frankfurt's Europa League campaign. Obviously Frankfurt had progressed to the Europa League semi-final, but obviously got knocked out by Chelsea. So do you think that Sebastian Haller would be a good replacement for Romelu Lukaku? Now what's going on with Romelu Lukaku is, as you all know, as I've been updating you on a regular basis, we do know he's been heavily linked with a move to Inter Milan as Romelu Lukaku. Like I said, it came out towards the back end of last week. The quoted fee is around £80 million that we do want for Romelu Lukaku, and I think this is a figure that Inter Milan would be reluctant to meet. But we probably want around £80 million. So basically, we want we're looking to recoup the majority of the money that we did pay for him from Everton, back in 2017, because obviously we got him for 75 million. Obviously there were add-ons included, several add-ons included of around 15 million. So that had initially risen the deal up to £90 million. Lukaku has still got 3 years left on his contract, and he's on about £250,000 a week. But potentially Solskjaer's told Lukaku that he is surplus to requirements at Manchester United, and it came out last week saying Manchester United have told Romelu Lukaku that he can leave, and I think from his own perspective he wants to leave the club, because obviously we've got to get rid of Lukaku anyway, because I think it'll be very, very beneficial. It'll help us with our rebuilding process, and it will help us with our transition. And obviously Lukaku can't stay anywhere, because we can't assure him first team footballer for next season, because obviously he's initially lost his place in the team, because we know mainly Rashford is first choice ahead of him. Obviously Lukaku enjoyed a difficult time in his second season with Manchester United, of course, because like I said, Rashford had been first choice ahead of him. But don't get me wrong, Lukaku did very, very well in his first season with the club. He scored 27 goals in all competitions, but didn't replicate that form in his second season, Lukaku. But yeah, we do know Antonio Conte got appointed Inter Milan's new manager last week, and obviously he's identified Romelu Lukaku as his number one target. But now, as it did come out the other day, as I think I give you an update on, Lukaku's proposed move now to Inter Milan could actually be under threat, and this is due to the financial fair play rules. So it reportedly said by the 30th of June, Inter Milan have got to raise around £40 million to meet financial fair play regulations. If they don't, raise £40 million by the end of this month, I think their proposed move, their move for Lukaku, will obviously come to a conclusion. But definitely Lukaku wants to make a move to Italy, because he was discussing a while back about his dream of playing in the Serie A. But yeah, I think, we definitely need to get rid of him. But it did basically say everything else has been agreed. It came out the other week saying that, Inter Milan had agreed the personal terms with Lukaku. It also said Inter Milan have agreed a 5-year deal with Lukaku, worth up to around £7.5 million a year, plus bonuses, I think, involved. And it also said Inter Milan were willing to meet his wage demands, and I think it even said that Lukaku was willing to take a pay cut in order to join Inter Milan. So whether there is a possibility chance, that Lukaku could stay, like I said, based on this financial fair play thing now, this could be the stumbling block of Lukaku making his move. Based on the huge transfer fee that we've put on him, this also could be the stumbling block Lukaku, you know, making his move to Inter Milan. But as you all know anyway, I've got strong reservations about Romelu Lukaku. You know, his first touch concerns me, his link-up play. He never rises up to the occasions against the big teams. He hasn't really got that endless potential. But I will credit Lukaku because, you know, his pedigree is very, very good in the Premier League. You know, his ratio is still very, very good. You know, he has scored a lot of goals in the Premier League, as I said. And, yeah, so his ratio is still very, very good. And like I was saying, he's 26 years of age. He's in his prime. He has still got a lot of development in him. And maybe, from our perspective, we think he's rated, you know, worth between 70 to 80 million pounds because he's only 26 years of age. But potentially, as it came out the other week, it did say Inter Milan, you know, were willing to offer 30 million pounds, you know, plus Ivan Perisic as part of the deal, you know, to get Lukaku from Manchester United. But like I said, Manchester United will not go along with this because we know Ivan Perisic is no longer a Manchester United target. Obviously, he was a long-term target under Jose Mourinho, but he's no longer now a Manchester United target, is Perisic. And obviously, he wouldn't fit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's transfer strategy anyway because obviously, you know, he's not intending on bringing any short-term players to the club, is Solskjaer. And obviously, Ivan Perisic is aging up. How old is he now? Is he 30, 31 years of age, Ivan Perisic? So we're not willing to go along with that. I think Icardi got mentioned. I think Inter Milan actually, you know, want to get rid of Mario Icardi. I think he's been spoken about that he could be part of the deal with Lukaku, but I don't think Manchester United, you know, want Mario Icardi. I think it came out the other week saying if we were willing to let Lukaku go as part of any swap deal, you know, we were demanding Inter Milan's Milan Skriniar because obviously Milan Skriniar has been a potential long-term, he's been a long-term target for Manchester United as Milan Skriniar. So whether Lukaku goes or not, I do not know. But like I said, you know, we are getting around, is it 200 or is it 250 million pounds to spend this summer? And like I said, that should be enough to get us around probably at least 5 players on the board. You know, depending on how we are with our recruitment this summer, you know, we're going to be sensible with our recruitment. You know, some people said we should be sensible with our recruitment because there's a lot of players on our agenda that are available for a reasonable figure. But we do know Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to bring at least, you know, like, 5 players to the club. Obviously, he wants to fulfill them areas where he thinks Manchester United are lacking. But like I said, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is working on trying to keep his imperative players at the club. He's also working on trying to bring the right players to Manchester United who he thinks are going to be good enough to represent Manchester United. Because like I said, we've got to get the right players that have got the ability to elevate Manchester United at least in the next 2 to 3 years. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I know, was saying towards the back end of last season, you know, he still thinks we can attract players to the highest level, even though we're not in a Champions League football for next season. But yeah, like I said, is it 200 or 250 million pounds? That should be enough for us to get around 5 players on the board. Like I said, another problem with Manchester United, you know, we have let far too many players contracts run down. Obviously, you know, that's obviously, you know, been another issue. You know, Rashford's in the final year of his deal. You know, Juan Mata's coming to end of his contract. It's looking very imminent that Juan Mata's going to be leaving the club. It was bad business for Manchester United, you know, letting Ander Herrera go on a free transfer. And obviously, you know, David De Gea is in the final year of his deal. And it's looking like he's going to be going. And I think we need to buy a goalkeeper to replace De Gea if he leaves, which is looking very likely. I don't think it's in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plans to buy a goalkeeper to replace him because I think he's willing to promote Sergio Romero as our number 1 goalkeeper. Don't get me wrong, I like Romero, but I don't know if he's reliable enough, you know, to become our number 1 goalkeeper as yet. I know we've got Dean Henderson, but he's too inexperienced at the moment. He needs to go out on loan again to gain a bit more experience because obviously he's been on loan at Sheffield United. So, like I said, with De Gea, it's looking likely, you know, he's going to be leaving. But yeah, you can see the deficiencies in the squad, and you can identify the areas, you know, where we are currently lacking. But obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to bring players in who he thinks are going to fit the culture of the club, who he thinks are going to fit the history of the club, and wants to bring players in who he thinks have got that work ethic, that physicality, and all that. And there's so many players on our agenda. But like I said, I know we're a toxic club at the moment, but you know, we are still one of the biggest clubs in the world. You know, we've got a fantastic fan base. You know, we are the most successful team in England historically and all that. So we are still a massive club, even though we have been playing catch up for the last 5 or 6 years. I do know a lot of money has been spent at Manchester United over the years, but I do believe in the next couple of seasons our aspirations is going to be that top 4. Obviously, I think our expectations, you know, going on into next season, probably, you know, will be to get in that top 4, maybe add some silverware and that, maybe win the Carabao Cup, you know, maybe winning the Europa League or something like that. But like I said, it's very imperative, you know, that we catch up with the likes of City, that we catch up with the likes of Liverpool, because obviously, analysing it, they are strides ahead of us at the moment. But people have said if we get the right players to Manchester United this summer, you know, we can win the league next season. It's not going to happen because, like I said, I think we're a number of years off, you know, from mounting any kind of title challenge up. But I expect probably about 3 or 24 players, you know, to leave Manchester United this summer. But talking about this Sebastian Haller, do you think he'd be a good replacement for Lukaku? He's very, very young. He's 24 years of age. He did prove last season that he can score goals and all that. He was supposed to be very, very impressive during Frankfurt's Europa League campaign. This is why Manchester United, you know, instructed scouts to watch him during, you know, Frankfurt's run in the Europa League. So yeah, he's been, you know, potentially, you know, spoken about. So do you think he'd be a good replacement for Romelu Lukaku? As I updated you earlier on, I've been obviously, you know, been giving you the latest news of what's going on with Matthias de Ligt for Microsoft. I think now we've identified him as our number one priority target. Obviously, you know, Matthias de Ligt is a central defender, and obviously, you know, that's one of the priority areas, of course, when Manchester United have got to strengthen up. So I think he's been urged to make a decision on his future sometime this week as Matthias de Ligt, because I think it did come out about 3 or 4 days ago that it came out, I think, about 3 or 4 days ago, if I'm right, saying that he's set to you know, inform Manchester United about a decision on his future in the next couple of days. You know, Matthias de Ligt has come out and admitted that he has got several options on the table, and you know, he wants to he's got several options on the table, and of course he wants to choose the right one. It has been suggested out that he has got a preferred option as Matthias de Ligt, but obviously it hasn't been revealed, you know, which club that is. Obviously, you know, it's looking very imminent. He is going to be leaving Ajax, but he still remains uncertain where Matthias de Ligt, you know, will be applying his trade next season. So we do know the likes of Manchester United are in for him, Barcelona are in for him, obviously, you know, Liverpool are in for him, you know, PSG are in for him, you know, Juventus are in for him, obviously Manchester City, you know, have been previously in for him. So there's so many teams that have expressed their interest in Matthias de Ligt, because obviously it's looking imminent he's going to be leaving. He has been subjected to a hell of a lot of transfer speculation, and he has been widely spoken about throughout the course of this window. So he still says Barcelona are in for him, but at least in the last couple of months, you know, Barcelona have been in the ascendancy of getting the player's signature. Obviously, it did come out from Sky Sports the other week saying that he was set to join Barcelona with Matthias de Ligt. He said he was set to join Barcelona and all that. Obviously, Barcelona have already got a deal over the line for his current teammate Frankie de Jong. Obviously, you know, Barcelona agreed around a £65 million fee for him. But obviously, you know, reports came out the other week as well saying that talks between Matthias de Ligt and Barcelona had stalled. So it initially said that Barcelona adopted him out of the race because potentially Barcelona were reluctant to increase their offer. They were not willing to meet what de Ligt were demanding. They were not willing to meet what his agent Raiola were demanding. So then it did basically say, we have emerged as the front ones, you know, to currently get the player's signature. So potentially, I think in terms of the transfer fee, he's probably going to cost you from between 70 to 75 million pounds, because I think this is what he's initially rated at. It came out yesterday in the press, I think it was, or was it the day before, saying that Juventus had put a bid in for him of around 75 million pounds. It came out the other week saying that Manchester United had lodged a bid in for him of around 70 million pounds, because obviously we've got the financial power, you know, to meet his valuation. So it did reportedly say that we're willing to offer him a lucrative contract worth up to £350,000 a week. Obviously, you know, this equates to almost £17 million a year. £17 million a year, and if obviously, you know, if this was to process, you know, this would make Matthias de Ligt, you know, one of the highest paid players at Manchester United, obviously make him the highest paid teenager in world football. And obviously, you know, for Matthias de Ligt's perspective, maybe the contract Manchester United have offered him, maybe from his own perspective, he feels this is a contract that is too good to turn down. So I think deep down he's actually, you know, considering making the move to Manchester United. It initially came out the other week saying that we'd ruled out a move for Matthias de Ligt and we'd withdrawn our interest because obviously I think we was actually, you know, very convinced he was set to join Barcelona. But like I said, as I will keep saying, you know, we can assure Matthias de Ligt first team football, and first team football, you know, will be much easier for him at Manchester United, you know, than it would be for him, of course, at Barcelona, because he wouldn't be guaranteed first team football with Barcelona. And obviously, you know, we're willing to meet what de Ligt's demanding and what his agent Raiola is demanding, of course. And obviously, we can't offer Matthias de Ligt Champions League football for next season, but I don't think that's the main factor. You know, that's not the main factor problem in this story, you know, regarding Matthias de Ligt. I don't think it matters, because I still think he's keen on making the move to Manchester United, you know, reflecting on, you know, the massive lucrative contract that we have offered him, which is obviously, as I just said, £350,000 a week. But obviously, you know, City have been in there for him, because City are obviously in the market now looking for a replacement for Vincent Kompany. Obviously, you know, he served 11 years at Manchester City, did Vincent Kompany, but obviously now he left. So obviously, you know, they want a replacement for Vincent Kompany, and I think there's quite a few central defenders on their agenda. Obviously, you know, Liverpool, I think, are still in for Matthias de Ligt, even though Liverpool don't even need a central defender, because obviously, you know, they've got the likes of Virgil van Dijk who address their defensive deficiencies. Obviously, you know, they've got the likes of Joe Matip, you know, they've got the likes of Joe Gomez. Gomez, they've got Dejan Lovren, so they don't even really need a central defender. But I think the main factor reason why Liverpool are in for him anyway, because they know that Van Dijk and Matty Stillett know each other really well. They're both Dutch. They're both Dutch. Yeah, they both play in the Netherlands national team, of course. I think this is the main factor reason why Liverpool are in for him. Obviously, Liverpool paid £75 million for Van Dijk back in January 2018. And like I said, he's addressed their defensive deficiencies fantastically well. So he's been there about, 16 months now as Van Dijk. So I don't even think Liverpool need a central defender. But I think, Liverpool are actually, still in for Matty Stillett. Obviously, Matty Stillett has spent the entirety of his career with Ajax. Obviously, he's been an Ajax player, since the age of 9. Obviously progressing up the ranks fantastically well. I think he got named captain at just the age of 18. He's now 19. I think he made his senior debut for Ajax at just the age of 17. So obviously he's had 3 years worth of experience in their senior squad, or it's about 2.5, 3 years worth of experience in their senior squad. Made about 117 senior appearances for Ajax, but I do really like him. Indeed, he's still got a hell of a lot of development in him, and like I said, if he comes to the Premier League, it will take his footballing career to the next level, and he will address our defensive deficiencies fantastically well. Like I said, I think we need 2 central defenders. We definitely need someone that can go alongside Victor Lindelof, and I think Matty Stillett would blend in alongside Victor Lindelof fantastically well if he wants to come to Manchester United. He enjoyed a very good season with Ajax last season, did Matty Stillett. Of course, Ajax winning the domestic double for the first time in 17 years. Obviously winning their Eredivisie title, that's including, and of course progressing to a Champions League semi-final. So Ajax had a really good season last season, of course, but there is maybe a slight chance that he could remain loyal to Ajax and he could spend another season with them, but I think it's looking likely he's going to be leaving. So there's so many teams there that are in for him, but like he said, he's come out saying that he's got several options on the table. Obviously he wants to pick the best one. I know he has basically suggested out his preferred option, but he hasn't revealed which club that is. So I think he knows what he's going to be doing, but obviously it hasn't been revealed yet. So I think he needs to make a decision sometime this week on his current future. So yeah, that is potentially the latest news about Matty Stillett, and I think Matty Stillett became more of a regular in Ajax's squad. Became more of a first team starter, and obviously when Davinson Sanchez went to Tottenham back in 2017. So I think now we've actually identified him as our number 1 priority target. Matty Stillett. Thomas Partey, give you a bit of additional information about him. Obviously he's been on Manchester United's agenda. Obviously he's a defensive midfielder, and that's obviously a priority area where Manchester United needs to strengthen up, because like I said, Scott McTominay is too inexperienced at the moment. He demonstrated himself well towards the back end of last season, did McTominay, was playing between the lines and that very well, but at the moment too inexperienced. Matic too inconsistent, too slow, plus he's aging up, and obviously Fellaini left back in January. So I do believe we need a holding midfielder, and Thomas Partey has actually been spoken about, and I think it came out, was it in the media, saying that he wants to make the move to England. I think this was actually stemming from his current father. He said that that Thomas Partey wants to make the move to England, and he is available for a reasonable figure. I think his initial release clause is around 42 or 43 million pounds in his contract with Atletico Madrid. He's 25 years of age. It has been Manchester United and Arsenal that have inquired about his services. Obviously, he hasn't played in the Premier League as yet. I think he has spent the majority of his career with Atletico Madrid as Thomas Partey. But to be quite honest with you, I don't really know much about the player. But I know he's 25, so obviously he has still got a lot of development in him. So yeah, and I think he's under contract with Atletico Madrid until 2023. So according to his father, he wants to make the move to England. There's Thomas Partey, but it came out last week about this, saying that Manchester United and Arsenal had inquired about his services. So, as I've basically been giving you an update as well, I think I updated you last week, was it, about Tottenham's Toby Alderweireld. Now, potentially, I think he did say last week, we are set to make a decision whether we're going to go in for Toby Alderweireld or not. So, I think we're set to make a decision this week, because it said last week we're set to make a decision sometime this week. I don't think Toby Alderweireld is in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plans, and I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is intending on bringing him to Manchester United, even though looking at it from a financial point of view, he's available for a reasonable figure. His Alderweireld. His release clause is £25 million this summer. And looking at looking at, Toby Alderweireld is going to substantially cost us a lot less than the likes of, Koulibaly, the Rafael Varans. I know Rafael Varans staying at Real Madrid now anyway, Harry Maguire and all that. So he's a much cheaper alternative, is Toby Alderweireld. But don't get me wrong, I've got strong reservations about him now. He's 30 years of age. He has lost that yard and pace. Don't get me wrong, I still think he'd be a great upgrade in our defence of what we've currently got at the moment. And I said he's Premier League proven. He's been in the Premier League a number of years. I think he's been at Tottenham now 4 seasons as Alderweireld. But obviously, he's refused to sign a new contract with Tottenham. So it's looking imminent, he is going to be leaving Tottenham, is Alderweireld. But I think Manchester United, were actually linked with Alderweireld last summer. But reports came out last week saying we are set to make a decision whether we're going to go in for Alderweireld or not sometime this week. So that's the latest news I had to give you an update on that. Obviously, as I've been giving you my update as well of what's been going on within regards to James Maddison from Leicester. Now, I think we have emerged him as a priority target because obviously it's been circulating around the media in the last couple of days saying that, we've made contact with James Maddison and his representatives, over the potential move to Old Trafford this summer. Reportedly, Leicester want around £60 million for him. Obviously, I think Manchester United, would be more than happy, to pay £60 million for James Maddison because I think James Maddison's really, really good. I think if he was to come to Manchester United, he'd dramatically improve us in that midfield. He is an attacking midfielder and he's only 22 years of age. He has got a hell of a lot of development in him. Obviously he's Premier League proven, obviously has had a year of experience under his belt in the Premier League, but he was really, really good in the Premier League, with Leicester last season. I think he scored 7 goals and provided 7 assists, so he was involved in total in 14 goals, was James Maddison. I think he also created more chances than any other player, so that just emphasises he must be really, really good at creating chances, James Maddison. But I'd love Manchester United, to get a deal over the line for him. I think we have emerged as a front runners, to get the player's signature. It does say Manchester City, Liverpool and Tottenham are interested. I think them 3 teams have been long admirers of James Maddison, and I think they've been tracking him, since he was a teenager at Coventry. But Leicester got him last summer from Norwich for around, was it £20 million? He did sign a 5-year contract with Leicester, by the way, so he's under contract with Leicester until 2023. Plus he's British as well, and that's another thing. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has emphasised an interest in quite a few British upcoming players, and he has still got him a lot of years ahead of him. I think a lot of people, would take James Maddison in a heartbeat. I think he did have a good couple of seasons in the Championship, with Norwich. He had a stellar campaign with Norwich. Yes, he did begin his career with Coventry. I think he also had a loan spell with Coventry. He also had a loan spell in Scotland with Aberdeen. So there has been a lot of talks about James Maddison going on. I think he may have some reservations about joining Manchester United because obviously, we haven't got Champions League football for next season. So yeah, I really, really like James Maddison a lot, and I think he'd be great. He'd make a massive impact in our midfield. And obviously, we would see him as the adequate replacement for Paul Pogba if Paul Pogba, of course, is to leave Manchester United this summer. I've already, given you the latest news of what's going on with Paul Pogba, of course, because it has been looking very imminent. He's set to leave Manchester United this summer, and obviously, I think his first choice preference has been Real Madrid, because we do know Real Madrid have been heavily linked to him, and I think from his own, like I just said, from his own perspective, his preferred destination, of course, is Real Madrid. But there is still a possibility that he could make the return back to Turin, could Paul Pogba, because as you all know, he did say Juventus are interested in re-signing Paul Pogba. He does say Juventus are in negotiations with his agent Raiola, of coming to an agreement on a deal and all that. It did basically say Juventus have been in contact with Manchester United. Obviously, no bid has been put in as yet, no formal bid's been put in, but this is stemming from Damasio, who's a very reliable Italian journalist, and he's, especially in relation to Manchester United, he said that Juventus have made initial contact with Manchester United. Obviously, Juventus have may have to orchestrate something out, because obviously, Juventus are not going to be able to afford to get Paul Pogba, outright. They won't be able to get him in a straight cash payment. I think it's more than likely Juventus will have to offload a couple of their essential players, to fund the move for Paul Pogba. Obviously, it came out towards the back end of last week, saying that Juventus were willing to, sacrifice 2 of their players. It did say they were willing to offer us Paul Dybala and Alexandro, to lure Paul Pogba away from Manchester United. And actually, Paul Dybala has been on Manchester United's agenda, of course, for over a month now, according to recent reports. But as you all know, I've got a strong reservation about Paulo Dybala. But like I said, Juventus probably will have to offload a couple of their players. But, you know, Paul Pogba did have 4 good years in Turin, like I said, but he hasn't really replicated this form at Manchester United, you know, because obviously, you know, we paid £89 million for him back in 2016. Obviously, you know, our most expensive signing. And like I said, you know, we've got a history of spending big on players, and especially in recent seasons, like I said, prime example, Paul Pogba, 89 million, you know, Lukaku, £75 million. You know, it doesn't all, you know, it's not always about, you know, spending big on players, getting them Glasgow players, because it doesn't always guarantee you success, you know, as it's proven. But like I said, you know, you can get the best players in the world. You might have the money to do it, and you can get the best players in the world. But if they're not working as a unit, if they're not working as a team, you know, it's, you know, potentially, you know, just not going to work out. Of course, but like I said, you know, Paul Pogba hasn't really exceeded expectation levels at Manchester United. He hasn't been the fundamental player as we all thought he would have been. Actually, you know, we had Paul Pogba when he was younger under Alex Ferguson, as you all know. We got him from Lee Harvey in 2009. He risen up the ranks, and then a couple of years later, made a couple of first-team appearances, but based on limited appearances, you know, Ferguson obviously, you know, let Paul Pogba go on a free to Juventus, and then, you know, obviously, you know, went and had 4 good years in Turin, of course. But like I said, since his return to Manchester United, he hasn't really replicated this. With us, he's won the Europa League and he's won the League Cup. Obviously, you know, that came in Jose Mourinho's first season. Obviously, you know, Paul Pogba last year was subjected to a lot of transfer speculation, and obviously Juventus were in for him last year, Barcelona were in for him last year, you know, based on his poor relationship with Jose Mourinho. And obviously, you know, Paul Pogba got one of his best wishes, of course, when Jose Mourinho got sacked from the club. He's also a World Cup winner, is Paul Pogba. But I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is doing everything he can, you know, to try and convince, you know, Paul Pogba, you know, to remain at the football club. And obviously, as it came out the other week, saying that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, was willing to offer Paul Pogba the captaincy in a bid to convince him to stay at the club, because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows how much of an imperative player he is. You know, Paul Pogba's still got 3 years left on his contract with Manchester United. We do know his agent Raiola, at least in the last 5 or 6 weeks, has been in the process of securing his move to Real Madrid. But like I said, he's still got 3 years left on his contract. But I don't think Florentino Perez and Real Madrid are keen on a straight cash payment for Paul Pogba, because obviously I said there's a slight possible chance he could remain at the football club, you know, based on the huge transfer fee that we've put on him. So we initially don't want to sell him, but I think if we have to, I think we want around 150, or is it 160 million pounds? And obviously, you know, Real Madrid are reluctant to pay 150 or 160 million pounds for Paul Pogba. Even though a lot of reports came out from Spain the other week, it also came from a very reliable Spanish journalist, you know, basically saying that you know, basically saying that Real Madrid, Paul Pogba to Real Madrid is practically done. It basically said he's agreed a massive pay cut as Paul Pogba and all that. But obviously, you know, they haven't come to an agreement on the initial fee. I've already updated you about this. Real Madrid have orchestrated somehow. It did say they're willing to offer up to 3 of their players, you know, in a bid to sign Paul Pogba. I've already gone through with it, you though. Whether Manchester United are willing to go along with this, I do not know. Like I said, the 3 players that have been mentioned, obviously, you know, Bale, James Rodriguez and Keylor Navas. So whether Man United will go along with that, I do not know. So there is a possibility chance that he could make the return to Juventus. It could go to Real Madrid, or could end up, you know, staying with Manchester United if they can't come to an agreement on an initial fee. So yeah, a lot of news that's been circulating around Paul Pogba, but he does definitely, you know, want to leave Manchester United, does Paul Pogba. And maybe a couple of main factor reasons why he wants to leave is because maybe he wants to be, you know, playing amongst better players. Maybe he wants to be in Champions League football. Maybe he wants to be winning trophies and that, and going to a competitive league level football club. And obviously, you know, Manchester United can't offer him, you know, like Champions League football. We're not competitive at the moment. You know, like I said, I think we're at least 3 or 4 years off the mountain any kind of title challenge up, and I said in the next couple of seasons our aspirations is going to be fighting for that top 4. So maybe Paul Pogba, you know, wants to rejuvenate his career, of course, but he's 26, you know, he's in his prime, you know, he has still got a lot of years ahead of him. So do I think he'll leave? It's 50-50 at the moment, because obviously, you know, based on the huge transfer fee, I don't know. Obviously, you know, more things we'll update about it, and then obviously, you know, I'll keep you up to date on it. Obviously, Bruno Fernandes as well, as I've been giving you an update about him. Obviously, you know, he would be a good adequate replacement for Paul Pogba. I think Manchester United want to finalise a deal for Bruno Fernandes by the end of this week, as it did get confirmed last week that we want to finalise a deal for Bruno Fernandes sometime this week. I think we're set to get him in a deal with around £70 million. You know how much I like Bruno Fernandes a lot. Only had 24 years of age. You know, I still got him a lot of years ahead of him, and I do believe if he comes to the Premier League, he'll succeed, he'll exceed expectation levels, and I think he'll produce and deliver, the same element of the performances, that he has been doing in his couple of years with Sporting Lisbon. But it has been Manchester United and Manchester City that have been battling it out for Bruno Fernandes. It has been them two that have been battling it out for him. It came out the other week saying that City were emerged as the front runners, to currently get the player's signature, because it did say basically City were willing to offer £47 million, I think something like that, and they were willing to offer a couple of their players as part of the deal. But now recent reports have come out from a ball of the Portuguese press, and they've said now we are emerged as the front runners, to currently get Bruno Fernandes' signature, because obviously we're willing to offer more than City. We're willing to offer up to £70 million for Bruno Fernandes' services. Like I said, his initial release clause is around £86 million, but obviously Manchester United and Manchester City are reluctant, to meet his £86 million release clause, so we're not willing to trigger that release clause. But like I said, I really like him. He had a lot of experience playing in Italy, when he was younger, the likes of San Pandora and Underneath. Obviously, I think Sporting Lisbon paid around £8 million for him, but obviously, Bruno Fernandes will want to take his footballing career to the next level. Obviously, as we all do know, he gave us an update on his future the other week, saying that he's unsure about his future. He doesn't know where his future lies. He doesn't know if he's going to be, remaining loyal to Sporting Lisbon for another season. And I think he has refused to rule out and move to the Premier League. But according to recent reports, I think he will be playing his trade in the Premier League next season with Manchester United, looking likely anyway. And I really like Bruno Fernandes. He's got goals in him, he's got assists in him, got a lot of tenacity about his play, and I think he'd add depth in our midfield really well. So yeah, it's looking imminent that Bruno Fernandes is going to be coming to Manchester United. I've already given you the latest news about Joe Felix from Benfica. Obviously, it's Manchester United and Manchester City that are battling out for Joe Felix. Daniel James now, I haven't heard much news about Daniel James recently, to be quite honest with you. I think it did say, was it sometime last week? It was supposed to be announced last week, was his move to Manchester United. But I think recent reports have said, of what I've read up anywhere, that we are close to getting a deal over the line for Daniel James. So he's moved to Manchester United now, he's looking very imminent. I think the initial fee has been agreed. I think we've agreed an initial £15 million fee. I think there's add-ons included, so it does rise up to around £20 million. Obviously, from Daniel James' perspective, he does want to make the move to Manchester United. I think the move's been delayed, obviously, based on the other week, with Daniel James' father passing away. So Man United, obviously, willing, to give him the time and space that he does need. Obviously, the other week, he had, withdrawn from the Wales camp. But, Daniel James, right, I've got some reservations about Daniel James, because obviously he's a championship player. The question is, has he got the ability and the minerals to make it to the highest level? Don't get me wrong, he's only had 21 years of age. Can he exceed expectation levels in the Premier League? And that is the question. But, looking at it from a financial point of view, he's available for a reasonable figure. But don't get me wrong, it's a surprise solution. He's a low expectation. He is a cheap acquisition. But I think Brighton came in for Daniel James right at the final hurdle. But obviously, Brighton didn't get him. Obviously, Leeds nearly got him in January. Everton inquired about his services. But obviously, I think from Daniel James' perspective, his preferred destination is Manchester United. He's only got a year left on his deal with Swansea. I think he played about just under 40 games for Swansea last season. I think he was actually, very impressive. Daniel James is primarily a winner. He's supposed to be more effective from that left-hand side, so I do presume that's where Manchester United will put him. He can play on the right, but he's supposed to be more effective from that left-hand side. That's where you see the best of Daniel James. He's got goals. I think he can score goals. He's good at cutting in from that flank. But like I said, I've got reservations about him. He's not very good in the air. He's not really good at tracking back. So can he do well at Manchester United? If he doesn't, exceed expectation levels at Manchester United, then I think probably Man United will probably, consider loaning him out or something like that. But yeah, I think everything has been agreed, but obviously it hasn't been fully finalised yet. But it is very, very close indeed. So, yeah, it's looking like, Daniel James is going to be coming out to Manchester United. Like I said, I expect about 3 or 4 players, to leave Manchester United this summer. Like I said, Darmian and Rojo should be going. An estimated guess we can get around £25-30 million for them. Like I said, it's looking likely, that Juan Mata is obviously, going to be leaving because he's coming to an end of his contract. Obviously, the club have failed to agree a contract extension for him. Obviously, a bad business for Manchester United, letting Ander Herrera, go on a free transfer. I want Matic gone this summer, but he won't be gone this summer, Nemanja Matic. Sanchez, I haven't heard much more additional information about Sanchez of what I heard a couple of weeks ago. Last time I heard additional information about him was a couple of weeks ago, saying that, his agent had been in Italy and Juventus and Inter Milan had been interested in Alexis Sanchez. Obviously, there was in negotiation with Sanchez's agent. Like I said, I think Sanchez agreed the pay cut. Manchester United were willing to let him go on a long season loan because obviously we can't get rid of him, permanently, based on his substantial wages. Like I said, his wages are having a really bad effect on the football club. Obviously, he's on about 400 grand a week, is Sanchez. Potentially rising up to 500 grand a week, based on the image rights and the bonuses and all that. But he is one of the problematic players at Manchester United, and obviously, he's been here 16 months. He has become injury prone as well since he's come to Manchester United, but he has no future at the club anyway. He's 30 or 31. He's lost that yard of pace. Don't get me wrong, he did well in his 4 years with Arsenal before he come to United, and he did well when he played under Pep Guardiola at Barcelona when he was younger. But he hasn't he hasn't replicated this form at Manchester United, and he hasn't been the fundamental player, of course, as we all thought he would have been. So yeah, we've definitely not got to get rid of him. But yeah, that's mainly everything to update you guys on. Like I said, with Smalling and Jones, I think they should be gone next season. It was a bad mistake for Manchester United, giving them new long-term contracts, but it's probably imminent that they're going to be at Manchester United next season. There've been 2 long-serving players at the club. Smalling's been here 9 years, Jones has been here 8 years. And like I said, they're too inconsistent at the moment. Comparing Smalling and Jones, I think Smalling's a much better defender than Phil Jones, but I just think they're both inconsistent. This is why I did pinpoint that we do need 2 central defenders, of course. I know we've got Eric Bailly, but Eric Bailly, he's too injury prone now. I think based on his fallout under managers and his injuries he's sustained, I think it's had a really, really bad effect on his Manchester United career. I think we would be only willing to sell Eric Bailly if we could recoup the initial £30 million that we did pay for him from Villarreal back in 2016. And don't get me wrong, when Bailly first came into the Premier League, he burst into the scenes really, really well. But I think we need to get rid of Eric Bailly, and obviously it's going to leave more room, to bring a couple of central defenders in if Eric Bailly, of course, goes. But he doesn't even initially get in the team now. Bailly, like I said, we know Valencia's leaving. Obviously we need an upgrade to Ashley Young at that right back position. Ashley Young, it was a bad mistake for Manchester United, giving him a new 1-year extension. We need a cover up for Diego Dalot in that right back position, and we've showed an interest in quite a few right backs. Obviously, already giving you my latest news about that. Obviously, I've already given you the latest news of what's going on with Thomas Meunier. Recent reports have just out it's looking very imminent. He's coming to Manchester United because, from his own perspective, he wants to make the move to Manchester United. Does Meunier, because it's been revealed he's been a Manchester United fan since he was a youngster. Aaron Wan-Bissaka's been spoken about. It came out the other week saying that the quoted fee was around £60 million that Crystal Palace wanted from him. I don't think Man United are keen on paying £60 million for Aaron Wan-Bissaka. When looking at Thomas Meunier, he's a lot more experienced than Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Plus, Thomas Meunier is going to substantially cost us a lot less than Aaron Wan-Bissaka, of course. Don't get me wrong, I like Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and I still believe he's on Manchester United's agenda. But now, with the recent reports coming out about Meunier, I think we have prioritised Thomas Meunier over Aaron Wan-Bissaka, of course. So yeah, guys, that's mainly everything to update you on today. But the main part of this video, was to give you an update about Sebastian Haller from Frankfurt. Reportedly now, if Lukaku leaves this summer, we have identified, Sebastian Haller as a replacement for Romelu Lukaku. Like I said, he scored 15 goals in 23 starts last season for Frankfurt. Man United instructed scouts, to watch Sebastian Haller during Frankfurt's, Europa League campaign and all that. In the past, he's attracted interest from Norwich and Everton and all that. He's also had spells with Oxford and Utrecht. So there has been a lot of talks about Sebastian Haller going on. So I don't know if they'd be willing to sell him though, Frankfurt, because obviously, that, like I said, they lost Luka Djokovic to Real Madrid on Tuesday, so it remains uncertain, if they're willing to sell him. But we don't know if we're going to get Sebastian Haller anywhere, because we don't know if Lukaku is going to be leaving the club yet. But obviously, more things will update. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribing as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.